Hello Science Alliance, I am Lara. This is Theory of Science. I actually have a first class science degree. I'm actually trained to teach science in a classroom. So what I do now is I stream free live lessons to home educators. I do IGCSE physics lessons, I do all ages lessons, and I do this, which is the Lego story show, where I just wear a silly costume, we chat about a thing, I tell you a story with Lego at the end, and we do an activity. And this week, because in our all ages lessons, which are slightly more sort of serious, like ever so slightly more structured than this, we're learning about mythical creatures. We're going to talk about the Sphinx, because I didn't have time to get the Sphinx into my mythical creatures module, and I just really wanted to learn more about it, and I'm so pleased, I'm so delighted. I'm going to have to take my little... So the Sphinx is a mythical creature which is half human, can be half man or half woman, depending on whether you're talking about the Greek Sphinx or the Egyptian Sphinx, more of that to come, and half lion. I didn't have any lion stuff, so I had to wear... I'm going to have to take off the leopard slippers, okay? I just got all of the leopard stuff that my child owns and put it on, and that's going to have to do for today. So, very quickly, because this lesson is really about the Egyptian Sphinx, the model of the Sphinx. God, it's uncanny, isn't it? This costume is so on point today. There is a Greek Sphinx. The story of the Greek Sphinx is this guy called Oedipus. You might have heard of Oedipus. There's a very famous Greek myth about Oedipus. The Greeks talked about Oedipus a lot. He did all kinds of stuff, like accidentally murdered his dad and married his mum, spoiler. But anyway, he's the king of Thebes, and he's on his way to this place, Thebes, and Oedipus meets a traveller who says, oh, don't come along this road to Thebes. There's this awful creature, this Sphinx, marching up and down the road to Thebes, giving people riddles, and when people get the riddle wrong, she kills them. And Oedipus actually kills the traveller for reasons, carries on his way, meet the Sphinx, and the Sphinx says to Oedipus, right, she gives him this riddle, get this wrong, and I'll kill you, you know. And the riddle was... Wikipedia, I think it was, told me that this is the most famous riddle of all time. I'd never heard it. What walks on 4 feet in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 3 at night? This is the Sphinx's riddle, okay? The Greek mythology Sphinx, half woman, half lion, 100% awful. Oedipus, I'm going to give you a riddle, and if you get it wrong, I'm going to kill you. What walks on 4 feet in the morning, 2 feet in the afternoon, and 3 feet at night? And the answer is humans, because when humans are born, they crawl, so they sort of walk on 4 feet, and then later on as they get older, they walk on 2 feet, and then when they get old, they might use a walking stick and walk on 3 feet. I think that's a really silly, awful riddle, because it's not in the morning and the afternoon, is it? So you like tricked it doesn't make sense. It's not a fair riddle. But anyway, Oedipus gets it right, and the Sphinx is so upset she throws herself into the sea and dies. But then, you know, Oedipus also marries his mum, so who wins really? But here is a fantastic painting. Someone said the other day, Lara, are like old paintings your new favourite thing? And I'm like, yeah, maybe. Someone called Gustave Moreau, that's how you say his name probably, in 1864, drew this picture of Oedipus and the Sphinx. How good is it? Again, with like, art is so kind of useful, isn't it? I knew the story of Oedipus and the Sphinx, but until I saw this painting, I'm not sure I really understood it. It was really successful, like straight away. Everyone in France went, yep, yeah, definitely, more of that. That is really cool. So this was a Sphinx. According to Greek mythology, Greek Sphinxes are half woman, half lion. And, oh yeah, they have wings as well. I forgot to mention that. She actually looks like quite calm and sweet, but no, she was evil. Anyway, we think that the Greeks probably got this. Oh, I'm supposed to be giving you riddles. So the activity today is, I'm going to give you a few riddles. So the first thing I'd like to do, some of you will have done this already. Some of you will know this. Can you please, if you've got a piece of paper and a pen and a coin, can you just draw around the coin on a piece of paper? Draw around the coin on a piece of, you know what I mean? Put the coin on the piece of paper, in the middle of the piece of paper, and draw around it, please. There we go. That's the first step. Some of you will have done this before. We're going to cut out a hole that is smaller than the coin, and I'm going to ask you, how can you fit the coin through the hole? If you've done that one before, I'm sure I'm going to have a riddle today that you haven't done. But yeah, that's what you need to be doing. God, you can't really see that, can you? Can you draw around your coin? Put your coin on a bit of paper and then draw around it, yeah? So we think that, right, ancient Egypt, I'm just holding that there so you can see what I've done. Ancient Egypt and ancient Greece were around at similar times, and we think that ancient Greece sort of got some of their legends from, tried to draw around it to show you more clearly what I've done. We think that the ancient Egyptian Sphinx legends came first, and that the Greeks got a hold of them. Maybe the Greeks saw statues of sphinxes in Egypt and thought they looked really sort of angry, and maybe thought that they looked like women. The Egyptian Sphinx is actually quite a sort of generous, kind, like guardian of things, looks after people. And the Egyptian Sphinx doesn't have wings and is a man as well. So what we're really going to talk about today is the Great Sphinx of Giza, this big statue which is in Egypt, which you might have heard of. I must admit, I always thought that that was supposed to be a woman. No, that's the head of a man. So that's the difference between Egyptian sphinxes and Greek sphinxes. Egyptian sphinxes, as far as I know, don't do riddles, but I thought it's too good an excuse. If you've drawn around a coin, you might want to get an adult to do this for you. Can you cut out a hole that is smaller than the coin? So I know you've just drawn a line, but don't cut out along the line, because you need a hole that is smaller than the coin. So how I'm going to do it is I'm going to fold the piece of paper in half, and then I'm just going to cut a hole that doesn't reach along to the line. Do you see what I mean? Like that. Don't worry if it takes you ages, don't worry, I'll just hold that like that for ages while I talk about the Sphinx. Can you be doing that? Cut a hole in a piece of paper that is smaller than your coin. That is your task. If you want to do this activity. If you don't want to do this activity, don't even worry about it. Just listen to me chatting about the Sphinx. I'll put that there so you can see what I've done. Okay, so this Sphinx, this massive statue that is in Egypt, I didn't know anything about it. Guys, I didn't even know anything about the pyramids. If you'd asked me about the pyramids in ancient Egypt, I would have said they're pyramids and they were built a really long time ago. I knew that some of them had like dead pharaohs in. I'm not even sure I really knew what a pharaoh was, really, like the ruler of Egypt. I sort of figured it would be more complicated than this, that like maybe they were built over a period of years by lots of different people. No, it's actually, anyway, I've had to research the history of Egypt, because you know what I'm like. I don't just want to learn Sphinx facts. I want to learn like why the Sphinx is there in the broad scheme of things. So I ended up looking at Egyptian history, okay? It turns out the history of Egypt can be split into different dynasties. So the kind of ancient Egyptians that we think of were happening. I'm panicking because I actually didn't write down my dates. But let's say I think it's about 5,000 years ago. So roughly, really roughly, look this up yourselves, about 3000 BC to about the year 0. So ancient Egyptian civilization happens over a really long period of time, and you split that period of time into different dynasties. One dynasty isn't like one king, but it's a few different kings that are all related to each other, okay? So, and there's about 33 different dynasties. Here we go. This is what I found out, okay? So this is, in the ancient Egyptian times, you split history into different dynasties. One dynasty is a few different kings that were all related to each other. So the first two dynasties are just called the early dynastic period. And then you get something called the Old Kingdom. Basically, the history of ancient Egypt seems to be kings that were absolutely smashing it and kings that really let stuff go. So the Old Kingdom, everyone's really smashing it. And then you get this period of dynasties called the First Intermediate Period, where just stuff isn't as good, really. And then you get the Middle Kingdom, where everyone starts smashing it again. And then the Second Intermediate Period, where things are not so great. And this just carries on. You get the New Kingdom. I won't bother with all of them. But we need to focus on the Old Kingdom, because these dynasties here, this is also called the Age of the Pyramids, because dynasties 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 were so great at building pyramids, particularly the people in the 4th dynasty. Here we go. So let's do some proper history. Are you ready to here about the pharaohs of the 4th dynasty of Egypt. So remember, a dynasty is like a few different kings, but they're all related to each other. Are you ready? So the first pharaoh, person in charge of the 4th dynasty of Egypt, is the first guy. We don't need to worry about him. The second pharaoh in the 4th dynasty of Egypt is someone called Khufu. He's very famous because he built the, well, not himself, but he made it be built, the Great Pyramid, which is the biggest Egyptian pyramid there is. I know it doesn't look like the biggest, that's because it's further away. It is the biggest. The third pharaoh of the 4th dynasty of Egypt was, I'm going to say, Jedefre. I'm so sorry, I didn't look up how to say these things. But anyway, that was Khufu's son. And the 4th one is Khafre. His other son, Khafre, built the Pyramid of Khafre, which is the second biggest pyramid. And we reckon that Khafre also built the Sphinx. Probably. There's quite a lot of debate about whether Khafre built the Sphinx or not, because some people think it looks like Khufu, and maybe the other son built it to remember Khufu, or maybe Khufu even built it himself. But most people think it was the 3rd pharaoh of the 4th dynasty. Right, let's do this riddle, and then I'm going to completely nerd out about what Egyptian pharaohs used to wear, okay? So the riddle is, how do you get this coin through the hole that you have cut without tearing the paper? You're not allowed to tear the paper. How do you get this coin through this hole without tearing the paper? It's impossible, right? It can't be done, surely, because the hole is too small. It's too small for the coin. Can you work it out? I know some of you will have done this before. Maybe I should give you just a moment to work it out while I nerd out about Egyptian pharaoh headgear, okay? So, in one of our mythical creatures lessons, we talked in the dragon lesson about the goddess Wadjet. Do you remember her? Wadjet sometimes appeared as a snake with wings, and we were like, oh, that's quite close to a dragon. Maybe that's how that started. Wadjet was the guardian of Lower Egypt, and the king of Lower Egypt usually wore a red crown, and the king of Upper Egypt usually wore a white crown. Now, eventually, in ancient Egypt, the Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt start to be ruled by one person, one pharaoh, king. And what this person does, to show that they're in charge of everything, they make a double crown. The red crown of Lower Egypt, guarded by Wadjet, snake with wings, and the white crown of Upper Egypt in one. So now, whenever you see this crown, I want you to go, yeah, because I'm sure you've seen this before if you know anything about ancient Egypt. This is the double crown. So the red with this little sort of coiled thing here, this is kind of representing the snake for Wadjet, because she was the guardian of Lower Egypt. And here's a picture from a tomb from the 1st dynasty of the crown being worn. Isn't that awesome? Anyway, apologies, that was a massive tangent, because you've probably noticed that the Sphinx, the statue of Egypt, is not wearing the double crown. He is wearing, is it called a Nemes? Maybe a Nemes? This very famous head covering that Tutankhamun wore, which was actually made of cloth. It was blue stripy cloth, and it was tied at the back. But look, you can still see, that's the little goddess Wadjet, the little snake goddess, to show the protection. But yeah, that's what the Sphinx is wearing. So the pharaohs, I didn't realise this, but the pharaohs had a lot of different accessories to show that they were pharaohs. So this Nemes thing, this was only worn by pharaohs. It was one of the things that they wore to show that they were the king, the pharaoh, and lest there be any mistake, okay, that people would think they were a normal person. No, they were the king. There was another accessory that pharaohs used, I mean, there were a few different ones, but there's another accessory that the Sphinx doesn't have, but some people think that he might have had and then he went missing. Can you think what it is? Okay, the answer to this riddle is, you've actually probably already folded the paper. The answer to this riddle is, if you fold the paper and then you put the coin in the hole, and then you make it so that the hole is not a 2D shape anymore, it's a 3D shape, then you can kind of curve space, and if you, so put the coin in the hole like that, and if you curve the edges up, you will find that you can completely change the shape of the hole. And what should happen is, if you keep manipulating the shape of the hole. Yeah, look. The coin drops out. That's a pretty good riddle, isn't it? I'll give you another one in a bit. I'm just gonna bang on about Egyptians for a bit longer. It just comes out because it's not a 2D shape anymore. So you've changed the diameter. It's good, isn't it? Right. What I didn't know, something that really pleased me. So I said you have these Old Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, New Kingdom where things are going really well, and you have these intermediate periods where things aren't going so well. One of the things that happens during the intermediate periods where people aren't really staying on top of things is the Sphinx gets covered up with sand up to its shoulders. And this guy, I mean, I didn't realise how old the Sphinx was. The Sphinx is so old. It's so old that we've got records of someone trying to dig the Sphinx out in 1400 BC, like 3,400 years ago. Someone's working on digging the Sphinx out again because it's been covered in sand. This guy, I'm going to say Tutmos the Fourth. Anyway, he managed to reveal the pores. He builds a shrine between the pores, puts a granite slab inside with some writing on it mentioning a name, and we're like, oh, brilliant! So that'll be the name of the person who made the Sphinx, and all this mythology will be finally sorted out, all this mystery. But no, it doesn't work like that because that part of the text is not entirely intact. I love this. We found a bit of stone that probably tells us who built the Sphinx, and that bit is missing. It's like something out of a story. Which we bring for him, oxen and all the young vegetables, and we shall give praise to Wennefer, and it just says calf, and we don't know. So most people think that was the second king of the 4th dynasty, but we don't know. Who built the Sphinx? Thanks, Wikipedia. It's still a mystery. Okay, can I do the other riddle that I really wanted to do you? So what I want you to do is, I want you to make it that 2 of your fingers become stuck together. I want you to make it that you can't move 2 of your fingers apart, but you're not allowed to use anything other than your hands. So if you put your fingers together like this, you'll find that you can move your fingers apart, yeah? How do you make it so that 2 of those fingers get stuck together, but you're only allowed to use your hands? You're not allowed to get any sellotape or string, you're not allowed to sit on them or anything, you can only use your hands. Stick 2 of your fingers together. Yeah, so I had no idea. I mean, I knew how old the Sphinx was, but I really didn't know what that meant. Like, I live in the city of York in the UK. The city of York is really famous for its Roman stuff. We've got Roman stuff that's like 1,800 years old. Beautiful bits of Roman wall, Roman coffins. People come from all over the world to see the gorgeous Roman stuff in York, which is so old. The Sphinx is so old that the Romans were going to the Sphinx because it was a tourist destination. The Romans were like, oh wow, I mean, we are like the totally new modern Romans, but isn't it cool that we get to look at this really ancient stuff, the pyramids and the Sphinx? It's just, I don't know, it's totally blown my mind. And the Romans looked after the Sphinx really well. I mean, in the end of the like 31st, 33rd dynasty, Egypt actually becomes part of the Roman Empire. The Romans kind of take over Egypt, and they pave around the Sphinx, and Roman emperors want to come and visit the Sphinx, so they build a staircase down to the Sphinx. Look. So this is the ancient Sphinx with some pretty ancient to us Roman stairs going down into it, so that the Roman emperor could like walk down the stairs and have a look around. And then these got taken away, they got broken up actually by the person I think who was taking these photos, who was the subject of our Lego story. In, I think, the 1920s is when the Roman stairs just got taken away, those like annoying modern Roman stairs. I don't know. Anyway. Sorry, just drop it. Oh wow, I dropped my phone and then I picked it up and I did a massive zoom in. How this riddle works is, get your middle fingers, so touch all your fingers together, and then get your middle fingers and fold them down like that so your knuckles are touching. Do that. Okay, can you do that? Touch all your fingers together and then get your 2 middle fingers and fold them inwards so that the knuckles are touching like that. There you go. Yeah. Okay, I said that I'd talk about the other accessory. So the Sphinx is wearing a Nemes. She's got has got this head covering on that I've got on to show the pharaoh. So we think maybe it was built to kind of honour the pharaoh at the time, whoever it was, maybe Khafra. The beard was another accessory. If you've ever seen a picture of an Egyptian person with a sort of very long pointed beard, that was quite possibly the ceremonial beard. So anyway, let's just quickly finish this riddle. So if you've got your middle fingers folded down like that, pull your thumbs apart and then touch them together again. Yeah, easy peasy. Do your pointing fingers the same. Do your little fingers, pull them apart. Now do your forefingers. You can't do it, right? Guys, science lines, you can't do it. It's impossible. You can see I'm trying to move my four fingers apart, and all that happens is my third finger start lifting up. What is with that? Come on, it's a good riddle, isn't it? That's good. It's impossible. I'm just going to let you stew over that for a bit. Yes, pharaohs had a ceremonial beard. It was a fake beard, and it was attached around their ears with little bits of gold thread. So people think that maybe the Sphinx used to have a beard, but it fell off. Some people argue that you'd be able to tell because there hasn't, like, you would see that the chin was damaged, and it doesn't seem to be damaged in that way. I think there's a bit of stone in the British Museum that claims to be. One picture that I saw said that it was claiming to be a bit of the Sphinx's beard. But anyway, the jury's out. We're not sure whether he ever had a beard or not. So there is some stuff about the Sphinx's nose. There's a lot of questions there. The Sphinx's nose is damaged, and we don't know why. There's a story that when Napoleon went to Egypt to do some fighting in the 1700s, it got blasted off by a cannon, but that's not true. And we know that's not true because there's a picture of Napoleon seeing the Sphinx for the first time. A beautiful painting that's so beautiful, it's nearly a photo, and, well, so detailed, I should say, it's nearly a photo, and this is it. The Sphinx is already damaged, see? But how good is this? So again, this was during one of these sort of periods where the Sphinx had really let himself go. And when Napoleon visited the Sphinx, this is what he saw. I'd never thought about the fact that obviously the Sphinx is absolutely surrounded by sand, which moves around a lot in the wind. So in the 1700s, the Sphinx was completely covered up to his shoulders in sand. But as we can see, obviously the nose was damaged before Napoleon got there. So we don't know what happened. It seems to have been like chiselled off on purpose. So I don't know. Is it a riot? I don't know. Another thing that this painting beautifully shows actually is that this is Giza. This is all just like limestone. The Sphinx wasn't made of different bricks that were sort of piled up on top of each other. It was made out of one big piece of limestone. There was probably a big piece of limestone just sticking out of the ground, and people carved it into the shape of the Sphinx. So it's all one thing. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, shall we do one last riddle? One last riddle, and then I'll tell you the Lego story, because it is about some of the restoration that the Sphinx has undergone. Okay, my last riddle to you is, while you're trying to think about it, I'll check that I've told you everything I wanted to tell you. A man leaves his house and walks south for a mile. Okay, so a man leaves his house, walks south for a mile, like down for a mile, and then he walks east for a mile, and then he walks north for a mile and gets back to his house. On the way, he sees a bear. What colour is it? So a man walks out of his house, going south for a mile. Then he walks east for a mile. Then he walks north for a mile and is back at his house. He sees a bear. What colour is it? I'm just going to read these notes and make sure that I've told you everything that I want to tell you. Oedipus, yeah. Headdress, found that really interesting. Ceremonial beard, yeah. Getting buried and unveiled, yeah, that happened a few times. Yeah, the nose, cool. Oh yeah, so many people have tried to fix the Sphinx and ended up making it worse. Someone drilled a hole into the back of its head, and then the drill got stuck, so they sort of had to explode it to make the drill come out. So now it's got a hole in its back of its head, but someone patched it up. Anyway, the answer to the riddle, and then we'll do the Lego story, is they're at the North Pole. So the bear is white. They've got to be absolutely at the North Pole, because if you're standing at the North Pole, then you can walk south for a mile, and then you can walk east for a mile, as many miles as you like. You could walk halfway across the world. And then if you walked a mile north again, you'd go back to your house again, you see? Whereas if it was like here, you would go north and then east and then north and then east and then south, and you wouldn't be where you started. It only happens at the North Pole and the polar, so it was a polar bear, so it was white bear, yeah? Okay, right. I need to take off some of this stuff so that I can do the Lego story without knocking a load of bits and pieces over. Okay, right, let's do this. Just smiling in anticipation of what I get to tell you about in this this Lego story. The modern times! Aren't they great? We've discovered everything there is to discover now. Clever us. Not like in the olden days, like in Napoleon's day, in the 1700s. The Sphinx, for example, was absolutely covered up to his neck in sand. Poor old Napoleon didn't get anything like the gorgeous view that we got. And even in 1916, the Sphinx's feet were still covered. We know this because soldiers in Egypt during the First World War found the Sphinx just as cool a tourist destination as we did, and put themselves in front of the Sphinx and posed for lots of photos. Yeah, so we've got photos from 1916 of the Sphinx's feet being absolutely covered in sand. Finally, in the 1920s, a French archaeologist called Émile Bachez, which is probably how you say that, came along and dedicated nearly 11 years of his life to restoring the Sphinx. He was getting paid, he was working to do it. And it wasn't just him that cleared away the sand from the Sphinx's feet. He had a whole team of people working for him, including basket carriers who would gather up the sand into baskets and then take it away again. The 11 years, there was an awful lot of sand. It was during these restorations that a very serious and important discovery was made. The rump passage. If you don't understand why that's funny, it's because rump is an excellent word for the back end of an animal. It means bum. They found the Sphinx's bum passage, okay? The secret bum passage wound down nearly 5 meters under the Sphinx and finished in a mysterious dead end. Here's the voice of the Sphinx saying, "Where on earth do you think you're going?" So another part of it reached 4 meters above ground. Nobody knew why it was there. It was covered with bricks and forgotten by history. At the same time, over in America in the 1930s, let's go to America, friends. In America in the 1930s, a clairvoyant called Edgar Cayce claimed to be able to go into a trance and speak to dead people. And some of the people he claimed to be speaking to were people who had lived in the lost city of Atlantis. So Cayce described Atlantis. It did sound suspiciously like the Atlantis that had been written about before in books that Cayce might have read. But weirdly, when he was describing the people of Atlantis, he also mentioned the Sphinx. So according to Cayce, when Atlantis was completely destroyed and sunk to the bottom of the ocean or became covered by seawater, its people moved to Egypt and built the Great Pyramid of Giza, and they built the Sphinx as well. Yeah, the people of Atlantis, I know, right? And they brought their ancient records and books with them, which they put in a hall of records, and the entrance to the hall of records, according to Cayce, was right next to the Sphinx's right paw. Now you might be thinking, well, at least this guy had a great imagination, but actually he was piecing together things that had been said before. Roman writer Pliny the Elder said that the people who lived near the Great Sphinx believed that it was hollow and contained the body of a king. And in the medieval times, Islamic legend said that a king of Egypt had built the Great Pyramid of Giza to keep all his records in for when Noah's flood happened. Humans love old stories, and the story of the Hall of Records is still alive today. I mean, who doesn't want there to be a library buried under the Great Sphinx, full of ancient secrets written on papyrus scrolls? We haven't found the library, but in 1980, 54 years after it was covered, just before it was about to get lost by history, an old man named Muhammad mentioned the Rump Passage to someone. He'd been one of the basket carriers who had cleared the sand away with Emile Berets half a century earlier. So he'd been a young boy when he'd shifted the sand away in baskets. And now he was an old man, but he remembered this bum passage that everyone else had forgotten about. So the Rump Passage was excavated again. The bottom was clogged. The bottom was clogged, guys. I'm not making this up. The bottom of the bum passage was clogged. But they found a piece of tin foil, cement, and a pair of shoes. More importantly, they allowed me to tell you a story in 2025 that included the phrase bum passage and reminded us all that there is much, much in this world still to be discovered. But you must be careful who you listen to. Here's the clairvoyant guy again. There's a library, we must all... Yeah, to be fair, he founded an organisation which is giving money to like excavating under the Sphinx to try and find the ancient library. Well, there you go. Be careful who you listen to, champs. Respect your elders and all that. The end. Man, I don't know why. I need to write to the Egyptian Tourist Board and say, you need to be making more of a big deal out of the Sphinx's Rump Passage, because I can't be the only person who finds that funny. Yeah, there's loads of passages in the Sphinx, actually. There's lots of tunnels underneath it, because people thought there might be treasure underneath it, like there was treasure in the pyramids. So lots of treasure hunters have sort of dug around it trying to find something. Like I say, so far, nothing has been found, apart from the tin foil and a pair of shoes. But who knows? Who knows? Right, you lot, that is the end of my Lego story show about the Sphinx of Giza. I hope that you enjoyed it. We didn't mention the fact that it faces east, so quite closely connected with the sun god Ra, because the sun rises in the east. I think that's the only thing. Right, I'm going to go over to my Facebook page now, because whenever I'm live on YouTube, I always put a post up on Facebook saying, there's no comments on YouTube, but if you want to comment on this Facebook post, then I will say hello to you at the end. That's nice. If you don't have a Facebook page, don't worry about it. I don't worry about it at all. It's good that you don't have a Facebook page. Facebook's awful. And you couldn't all comment, or I would just literally be here for like years. So I'm going to go and read the people who have commented. But if you haven't commented, I can see that there is a number on the screen telling me how many people are watching. And I really appreciate it. I am very glad that you are here. Thank you. I'm faffing because my poor computer is working really slowly today. So I'm just trying to get to my Facebook page. While I do that, I will tell you how I make money from this job. This is actually my full-time job, like my proper full-time job. It's actually the only way that anyone in my family makes money. It's not like I've got a partner who's got a really proper job who's bringing in most of the money. No, this is the only way that me make money. So what happens is I started going live in lockdown and just streaming science lessons because I'm trained to teach science. And then home educators were watching and they liked it and they didn't want me to stop. I didn't want to stop. So I said, okay, there's this page called Coffee. If you support me on Coffee, if you send me £5 a month on this website called Coffee, then that will be enough to keep me going. If you had asked me to like sit down and plan a business, never would I have thought, oh, I'll just teach for free and people will pay me anyway. But that is what's happening because you're ridiculously amazing. So I stream an all ages lesson for free into the internet every week in term time. An all ages IGCSE physics lesson, because that's what I'm actually trained to teach. Those both come with free printouts. And I also do this Lego Storytime show, which doesn't have printouts, but it's still, you know, really fun and it's a lot of work. And everything is saved on my website for watching on catch up. And I just say, if you are using me as a resource, if you are finding what I do useful, then please can you send me £5 a month on Coffee, like if you can afford it. Yeah, and you just are. So how it works is, like £5 a month, hopefully from you, isn't that much for what I'm offering. But because there's a lot of you watching, it all adds up to a wage for me. And I do send you nice things to say thank you. I'm write Theatre of Science magazine. So whenever I've written Theatre of Science magazine, I post it out to anyone who's supporting me per month. It doesn't come out very often because it takes me ages and ages and ages to write, because these lessons really take up like 100% of my time. But sometimes it comes out. So if you sign up to support me, I'll send you a past issue. If you sign up with £5 a month, you get this issue, which is about mould. Comes with a free home compostable plastic bag. You build the tray, you put the food in, you put it on the bag, you watch the mould grow, you maybe identify it using the magazine, and then you compost the whole thing. It's also got a Choose Your Own Adventure and a comic. I'm very proud of Theatre Science magazine. I'm not proud of how frequently it comes out, but I am proud of the work that I do. And if you sign up with £6 a month at the moment, you get the Christmas tree issue. You don't need to celebrate Christmas. It's a pine tree issue, really, which has a pull out and keep like pine tree quiz. So you answer the questions. Is it indoors? Does it have needles or feathery leaves? Does it have little berries? What colour are they? And eventually it will lead you through to working out if you are looking at a spruce or a fir or a pine tree, and maybe even what species it is as well. I've got some gorgeous pine tree bunting. I think this one is my favourite one. But yeah, and I send you some rainbow glasses as well. So you get all those things in a pack when you sign up with £5 a month. Or when you sign up with £6 a month, you get the Christmas tree issue as well. But I had a revelation last week and thought, I could just post them something that isn't Theatre of Science magazine. Instead of waiting ages for me to finish the next magazine, why don't we just post them something nice? Like just for funsies, to say thank you for supporting me. It's near Christmas. I celebrate Christmas. I'm not Christian, but I celebrate Christmas. So that's a nice time for present giving. So if you support me at the moment, if you're sending me 5 or 6 or more, some of you support me more, pounds a month, then as we speak, husband is gathering together different little bits and pieces, and we're going to put them in envelopes and send them to you. So now's quite a good time to sign up, because stuff's getting sent to the printers today, and it's got to come back from the printers, and we've got to put stuff into bags. It's going to take a while. So if you sign up now, you'll get the welcome pack, and then you'll get the little kind of, I don't know, I'm really torn between being excited about it, because I am, and also like not wanting it to make it sound too good, because I was raised in Yorkshire in the 80s, and you know, it's not right to make things sound good. You should always play everything down. But anyway, you'll get it. Whatever it is, I know what it is. You'll get it. I think it's good. Okay, I've come to my Facebook page. I'm going to read some comments. But yes, thank you very much. If you are supporting me, I really appreciate it. And I'm very excited that I actually get to show my appreciation this month. Hello, Aurelia. She thinks she has found a way to break the finger thing. She moves the ring fingers sideways. Move the ring finger sideways. Oh yeah! Nice! I had not done that. Oh yeah. Oh cool. I can show that to my child. They'll be pleased with that. Lewis, I know, right? Bum passage. It is strictly like if you're ever in a lecture about Egyptology, say rump passage, okay? It is the rump passage. But it's still a rump passage. And like genuinely read an essay that said the bottom was clogged. I was like, is nobody else? No, just me. What has... Oh, come on, Henry! Henry's got a riddle for us. What has roots as nobody sees, is taller than trees, up it goes, and yet never grows? Henry, you had better be giving me the... Do you know what's weird? Is that my kid is actually reading The Hobbit at the moment with my husband. And I, to my shame, have not been listening, and I'm not reading it. So I know 30 white horses on a red hill. First they champ, then they stamp, and then they stand still. That's a famous riddle from The Hobbit, right? 30 white horses on a red hill. First they champ, then they stamp, then they stand still. That's teeth, because your teeth are white, and they're in your gums, which is like a red hill, and they champ and stamp, but then they stay still because people die. That's what that is. And the other one is, a box without hinges, key or lid, yet golden treasure inside is hid. A box without hinges, key or lid, yet golden treasure inside is hid. Do you know that one? A box doesn't have any key, doesn't have any hinges, doesn't have a lid, but there's golden treasure inside. I think that's my favourite riddle. And, okay, I better... I'll read these other comments and then we'll come back to that. All right, Imogen and Ophelia, you think the Sphinx could have been a house? Yeah, Could have been a house. It's wild how little we know about it, really. You would think that they'd just be able to do sort of x-rays and go, okay, yeah, that's where everything is. But hello, Sophie and Emily and Katie and Hannah. We almost missed this lesson because we were distracted by a video of a CGI bear playing piano in a forest. Oh, like the excellent book about the bear that plays piano in the forest. Glad we made it though. Me too. Feels like a very theatre of science thing to get distracted by. Hello, Orla and Anya. All right, you two. Both excited to watch a Lego story time after a break. Oh, I hope you had a nice break. And hello. I hope this was all right. I hope this was as good as your break. Hello, Lana and Finley. Oh, you asked Google how heterochromia happens. So in the lesson that I just taught, we were looking at how eye colour happens. Heterochromia is caused by differences in melanin, the pigment. Oh yeah, differences in melanin. Yeah, so it is your genes that say how much melanin to make, though. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to read that a bit more. All right, Casper and Iris. Casper walked up the stairs on 4 and then later he walked down on 2 and later today I'll be walking with a stick. I still think it's a really annoying riddle. All right, Laurie. Hello. Hello, Zoe and Mum. Hello. All right, Zoe. Hi, Jacob. Right, Oliver and Freddie. Oliver and Freddie. Hello, you two. Hello, Seren. You have leopard slippers too. Yeah. I should have put them back on again, actually. I was quite pleased with those. All right, Jack, hello. Hello, Kai. Hiya. Dexter and Daisy. We officially signed up at the end of lesson. Oh, thank you. That was you. Oh, thanks. That's really sweet. Oh, thanks. It was you, mystery sign-uppers. It always flips up when someone signs up and makes me feel really good. But it's nice to know that it was you two. All right, Darcy and Willow and Hallie and Jackson, hello. Arthur, what's this? You've drawn a Sphinx. Okay, so guys, how much of attention were you paying? Let's tell me, please, is Arthur's Sphinx a Greek Sphinx or an Egyptian Sphinx? Greek Sphinx or Egyptian Sphinx? Yeah, I feel like I've got enough information to know. Is that a Greek Sphinx? This is some very cool doodles, by the way. Don't get distracted by the awesome turtle and the whale. What is this? Egyptian Sphinx or Greek Sphinx? Apart from being extremely cool. It's a Egyptian one, isn't it? Because it doesn't have wings. The Greek ones had wings. Also, is this actually the Sphinx? Because it's got the Nemes on and it's got the little broken nose. Love it. Right, let's have a look. Who else is here? Tough act to follow, Arthur. Oh, Alice! Hello, Alice! Couldn't believe it when you were wearing leopard slippers on your hands. Yes, it was lucky that we've got a lot of leopard stuff in the house. All right, Jancy, hello. Melt the coin. Yeah, we could do that, but you've just learned in IGCSE physics that metal doesn't melt very easily. So no, stop it. Zoe said use a smaller coin. Yeah, you're all too good for, no, stop it. The finger thing also seems to work if you touch your index knuckles together. You can't move your middle fingers. Oh yeah, no, I can. My child who told me this riddle said that you can't. Oh no, actually, no, you're right. I am yeah, you're right. I can't do it and keep those knuckles together. Oh, I can. Okay. Maybe a bit of this is genetics. Thanks, Jacob. Today's outfit is amazing. Thank you. It just all came together. I was literally yesterday thinking, oh, I've left it too late. I'm not going to be able to put a costume together. And then spied an orange cushion on my sofa and was like, ah. Leopard slippers. Boom. Honestly, I don't know. If I had more time for these things, these lessons would be rubbish. I feel like really the magic only happens when I'm standing in my kitchen going, I should have started the lesson 5 minutes ago. Think, Lara, think. Grab thing. Paint on face. All right, let's have a look. I'm doing newest comments. Please say hello to Thomas. Ah! Thomas, that was you who signed up on coffee as well. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm very excited. I get to stick your name on an envelope. Hello, Thomas. It says Thomas Z, and I'm not sure whether it's Thomas or Thomas Z, but I'm going to say Thomas. I say that like it's my decision. It's not my decision. So you can tell me if I'm wrong, Thomas. Thomas. It's a pretty cool name. Maybe you're called Tumas. I have been struggling to say Sphinx the whole show. I don't know if you've noticed that. I don't know if before I started researching I would have told you that it was called the Sphinx or the Sphinx. I think I just said it differently half and half of the time. to get it right sometimes. Jack! Jack is beyond smug. As he worked out the bear riddle while I was trying to figure out if the directions spelled a colour. Oh yes, come on. That is the definition of overthinking. I hard empathise with that. Leopard Sphinx Tootsies. Oh, thanks. I was loving the appreciation for the Tootsies. Right. Okay, so there's Thomas. Oh, good. Henry's replied. Thank goodness for that. So it's the egg. The box without hinges, or the key, or the lid, but golden treasure inside is hid is the egg. Henry, I shouldn't have told everyone, should I? Because they might read The Hobbit now, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I know that already. From The Hobbit. What? So Henry's response to all of this is, from The Hobbit. Are you kidding me? What has roots as nobody sees, is taller than trees, up it goes, and yet never grows. I can't remember. You're not even going to tell me? Your answer to that riddle is, read The Hobbit, Lara. What has roots as nobody sees? What has roots as nobody sees is taller than trees. Do you know what? I'm just going to end up going to get The Hobbit, honestly. I see you signing up. Thank you so much, the person who just signed up. That is really sweet. This is, I start to feel a bit awkward. I start to feel like, you know, those like shopping channels. Have you ever seen that there's like certain sort of TV channels which are just adverts all the time, and it's just someone going, you know, oh, sign up, blah, blah, blah. Oh, Deirdre's just signed up. Deirdre, you've got one of our extra special, like, free prize gifts. We've only got a few left, folks. Come on. Oh, Robert's got one now. Robert signed up. I sort of feel like that kind of person. I feel like I'm in an auction room, like, oh, someone's just signed up, everyone. Someone else has just signed up. Someone signed up. Quick, sign up, everyone. So you don't have to see that, but it is really exciting when it pops up. So thank you. All right, Jancy. There's Seren with the leopard slippered love. Iris and Casper. There's Jacob again. Loving it. Thanks, Jacob. Zoe and Mum. Is that everyone? Have I managed to get everyone's comments? This is a bit suspicious. I don't know. There's Dexter and Daisy again. I think Facebook's maybe just not showing me. I'll do a refresh again. Oh, what has roots as nobody sees? And it's taller than the trees. It's taller than the trees. Is it something to do with like space? Oh, is Henry going to have replied? Just going to absolutely leave me hanging. There's 2 replies now. There's 2 replies. What's Henry said? Oh, a mountain. A mountain? What has roots as nobody sees, is taller than trees, up it goes, and yet never grows? Do you know what, guys? I don't think I like riddles. I just don't think my brain handles riddles. Because mountains do grow. Like, they grow really slowly. Oh, no, I suppose they do. Well, they grow at first. Like, they get made and they grow. And then I suppose they get smaller because they, like, erode. Mountain. Do mountains have roots? Do mountains have... Henry, I'm literally Googling it. I know that's not the point. It's a beautiful story. I love the book of The Hobbit. Do mountains have roots? I'm not the first person to ask this. Yes, mountains have deep underlying roots. This is AI. Can't trust AI. Reddit Ask Science. Yes, typically. What? Why do mountains have it? Okay, University of Wisconsin. Cool. So I feel like the geology department of the University of Wisconsin are going to finally sort this out for me. Good and proper. Let's look up roots. Evidence for mountain roots. What? Evidence for mountain roots. Continents are buoyant crust, right? So the Earth is made out of like basically massive, massive paving slabs, okay, which move around. That's the Earth's crust. That's the bit that we're living on. And when the paving slabs push together, they're floating basically on liquid rock underneath. So Earth is liquid rock covered by this crust, which we are living on. I know it sounds scary, and it is. And sometimes they move towards each other, or they scrape against each other, and mountains get made. We can use the density of continental rocks and mantle rocks to calculate how deep roots are that support mountain ranges. Mountains have roots. Wow. Tolkien? I'll never doubt you again. What? Mountains have buoyant roots, like floating roots, that go downwards into the mantle beneath the mountain range, and the roots are about 4.6 times deeper than the height of the mountain range. Whoa. Sorry. What? So you've got the ground, the Earth's crust, and you've got the mountain, snow on the mountain. The roots, I've drawn this wrong straight away. It's got to be a really small mountain because the roots are like over 5 times deeper than the mountain and go into the... What? So you've got the crust. They go down into the mantle. Are you kidding me? So this is the crust. This is the solid bit. I'm reading and writing very quickly. So I'm not sure this is totally right. This is the mantle, which is the liquid bit that the crust is floating on. Oh, liquidy. Are you telling me, University of Wisconsin and Tolkien and Henry, mountains have buoyant roots that extend downwards into the mantle beneath the mountain range, and the roots are, in general, over 5 times deeper than the height of the range? What? Okay, well, this show went into directions that I didn't know it was going to go. I feel like that was a big spoiler. I feel like we should... Oh my goodness, you keep asking me to do a show about Tolkien. Oh no, I should have saved that for the Lego Story Show about Tolkien. Well, Henry, thank you. You've basically written my Lego Story Show about Tolkien. We get to talk about densities. Yes! Because this is all about different densities of stuff floating on things. We get to do an activity to do with density. We get to talk about mountain roots, link it to Tolkien's riddle. Genius! Henry, honestly, I feel like I should pay you like 50%. That is so much work that you've just done for me there. Well, we better do Tolkien then, hadn't we? I said that next week's Lego show was going to be about some sort of allergy because we've been learning about DNA. Yeah, I can't do Tolkien next week because I don't know that much about Tolkien and that's going to be quite a lot of reading. But let's do Tolkien really soon. Yeah, cool. All right, that is so weird. Okay, brilliant. Right, well, I'm going to go. I mean, how can we top that? Mountains have roots. Thanks, Henry. I will just carry on reading these comments though. Come on. That is, oh man, I love home educating. I can't believe that we started talking about the Sphinx and now I know that mountains have roots. Okay, let's have a look at some of these comments again. There's Orla and Anya. Finished your break? Okay, let's click newest comment and see. Could you do a show on mountains? We could do that too, couldn't we? Oh yeah. Do we do Tolkien or do we do mountains? Yeah. I mean, Tolkien will be fun, but mountains is going to be a lot easier for me to research. Yeah, let's just do mountains. Yeah, let's do mountains. Yeah, because then we can talk about... yeah, Tolkien's too big a subject. We'll talk about mountains and we can, like, mention Tolkien as we talk about mountains, can't we? Like, are mountains hollow? Could dwarves live in them? That sort of thing. Mountains. What gets wetter and wetter as it dries? Oh, stop it! Stop putting riddles in the comments and not telling me the answers. What gets wetter and wetter as it dries? A towel. A towel? I know that one. A towel. Stop it now. Stop it. All of you. Stop it. I can't Google anything else in front of you. I've got to go. Vaporise the coin and blow it through the hole. You're all too good at this. Thomas! There he is again. Hello. Or they are. Yeah, okay. Jack, Beyond Smug. Willow, Darcy, Hallie, Jackson, Imogen, Ophelia, Lewis, talking about the bum passage, Henry with the absolutely amazing revelation about the roots, Aurelia, Sophie, Emily and Katie and Hannah, because the CGI bear. Okay, I think we've read everyone's comments. I think so. There's 7 again. I've already said all of these names twice, so I'm sorry. You're probably just like, Laura, can you just... We would really quite like to turn the TV off now and get on with our other things. There's Oliver and Freddie again. Hello. Dexter and Daisy. Hello. Right, for some reason, those are the only comments that Facebook are showing me, even though I think that there are more. But anyway, we've all spent quite enough time staring at the telly, haven't we? I will go because I've lost the lid to my purple pen now, and I need to replace it before it dries up. Thank you so much. Honestly, I do feel like one of those adverts. So many of you have signed up on Coffee recently. That's incredibly sweet of you. Thank you. If you do want to get posted really nice things by me, and more importantly for me, like, pay my wages so that I can keep doing this job, because clearly it's the best job ever. Look at me. Look at what I just learned whilst dressed as a Sphinx. Amazing. I will see you next week for a whole of the Lego Story Show. Maybe about mountains. I sort of promised the other guys in the lesson earlier that we would do it to do with like chromosomes. I'll have a think and I'll advertise it as soon as I possibly can, okay? But mountains is definitely the pipeline. Thanks you lot. I will see you all very soon. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. Oh yeah, like and subscribe. Thank you for liking and subscribing and commenting and just generally being awesome and enjoying learning stuff with me, because this is really fun, isn't it? I'll see you all next week. Bye!